Hey, this is Mark Rodriguez,
And this is Johnny Rodriguez.
and this is a very special episode of the Review Sanctum, where everything and anything may be reviewed. And today we're talking about Bill and Ted Face the Music, a movie we literally just saw right now, but due to what's going on in the world, it's not like the old-fashioned, that we actually go to the movie theater. We went to the Fandango website, and we rented the movie. We got our snacks ready. We try to push play at the same time the best we possibly can to watch the movie at the same time. And I guess we kind of had the kind of sort of Mark and Johnny like the movie experience without actually being there.
Yeah, that's pretty good and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. The only bad thing I hate is that on the PS4 still limited. You can do the Fandango site on the web browser, but you need some weird program called Silverlight to actually see the movie. And of course it's a PS4, it's not a real computer. You can't install this program like you would in a computer, so I was still stuck watching it on a computer on my laptop while Johnny was chilling, styling and profiling with his Roku on his TV.
Well, maybe you should consider buying a Roku player.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm gonna have to. Because I don't know what's wrong with the PS4. Like, they don't have good deals with, like, Bleacher Report and Fandango and other places. Anyways, guys, there's going to be a quick review. We're doing it in the podcast format, but it's not going to be, it'll be like the usual review format that it's not a super long video. And we're also going to try to avoid, super duper duper spoilers because the movie just came out Saturday, and we don't want it, want you guys to spoil it. So, just real quick, the storyline. Everyone knows from the other movies that Bill and Ted are supposed to make this popular song that brings world peace and make the world a better place or whatever. And the movie deals with the fact that it still hasn't happened. And that Bill and Ted are old now and stuff. And like nothing's going on with their lives in that matter. And I guess it's even affecting their marriage now and their lives. And I guess that their kids grew up to be just like them. And they don't have jobs or nothing. Also living at home and whatever and all that. And now the thing we didn't know in the trailers was that, oh my god, so already it's getting fucked up and people from different time periods are just being brought everywhere. You got George Washington walking around in modern day, and you got other people from history and weird different time eras and shit. So I didn't know it's gonna be that bad. So it's like Bill and Ted are brought to the future, and they're told that if they don't make the song like that, now's the time. If they don't make the song today, in 77 minutes, all reality is going to be wiped out. So, there you go.
I actually thought, like I said, a while back that before the recording, I was talking to my brother. I was telling him that this movie has a very modern, like contemporary feel to it, but at the same time, it still has a little bit of that flashback Bill and Ted feel of the movie. It still reminds you of a lot of things that happened in the previous movies from the 80s, 90s.
I don't know, like when you see the trailers, especially Keanu Reeves, because of course he did a lot more movies, and he portrays a more badass character in other movies. He does look a bit stiff as Ted, but I don't know, when you're actually watching the movie, you kind of sort of forget it. It kind of sort of rubs off on you. You kind of don't notice it so much that he's I guess kind of stiff. But the actor of Bill, I mean, wow, he actually exactly the same. He's still like exactly the same person, and everything. He just slipped
Yeah,
right back into the role.
he looks almost, he looks, obviously he still looks older, but he doesn't look, he's like, he's well conserved. Like, you could still tell it's the same actor. Because, yeah, there's actors that after many years, you can't tell it's the same person, but you can still tell it's him.
Yeah. Now, another thing about Keanu Reeves is that he's always had a beard. It's kind of weird that, I mean, technically speaking, he could have kept a beard for this movie, I guess, but I guess he wanted to be more clean-shaven to look like Ted, and that's when you kind of notice that he does look a little older now, because this is the first time he's been clean-shaven since who knows how long. But,
Yeah.
of course, the actor that played Rufus already passed away. They do have a little scene that kind of, like, commemorates him, so that's kind of cool. And the girl from the future is his daughter, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so she's continuing to work and stuff, and she's trying to make her dad proud in memory and all that. So it's so good to still remember Rufus and everything. And Yeah, so in the movie, like you see in the trailers, of course, Bill and Ted don't know what to do, and they get the idea, I guess, that why don't we go to the future whenever they made the song and just take the song then, and they keep going a couple of years more and more into the future, and there's like different versions of themselves, but it's like, I guess their lives get more and more fucked up the more they go into the future, and the wives left them and a whole bunch of other shit. A whole bunch of other complicated shit happened that we don't want to spoil too much, but like the more they go, the more worse it gets for them and everything. And
To do all those, to fix it.
I know. And of course in the
So
movie,
that's what makes it like, whoa,
yeah, and then the daughters go on their adventure to get people from history so they can make their band also to help their fathers out and stuff because they also know their fathers are in trouble, And they also, I guess the future lady, doesn't have much faith in Bill and Ted anymore, so she sends a robot to go kill Bill and Ted because maybe that will fix things, I guess. And then everyone ends up in hell and it's just stuff like that. So now one thing I do want to mention that I do kind of like is they paid attention to the detail to the movie, especially the second movie, because the second movie, and that was weird because you always think that's like a joke or something, but at the end of Bogus Journey, when Bill and Ted are playing their song, during the ending, there's all these newspaper clippings and stuff about how Wild Stallions rocked it up and how they kept doing whatever and how the band separated, they got back together, and how Def got his own solo band or whatever, all that bullshit. And like I thought maybe all that stuff was just for comedic effect or that the movie's going to ignore it, but no, this movie actually takes into account. It actually does take into account that even though Bill and Ted rocked it up at the end of the second movie, that for all these years, that were these 25 years, they were still trying and trying and trying to make that popular song, and they still failed. And even in the movie, when they do see death again, it's still based on those clippings that, the so-called they got separated now. So now, like, Def's mad at that, like, oh, are you trying to sue me again? Huh? Did the restraining orders run out, huh? So it still follows all that, and I'm surprised that they actually added all that detail to it, and that the daughters knew about it, because obviously the daughters, I guess, they would have been growing up during all that shit going on, right? So, wow. That's, attention to detail.
I don't know, I just recommend people to just watch it, There are some movie theaters that are playing it if you want to go that route, but if you're able to, spare the money and watch it at home, you can also do it like that, because I just find it more, I don't know, I just find it more convenient to watch it at home too, because, like, yeah, it is fun watching it in the theater, but in the theater you still gotta waste time, getting there on time, getting the transportation if you don't have one, buying the tickets, and I don't know, just at home, like, it's just so easy to just buy it, like you buy it, like you rent it, you rent the movie and you watch it.
Yeah.
And of course you also have the option to buy it if you want to buy the movie, but for now, I'm just, it's just to rent it,
Yeah. But how did you feel, like, after all these years to see Bill and Ted back? Like, how did you feel the actors got back into the role and all the other characters and the daughters and Death and all them?
I think they actually did a good job because, like many of these movies that are done, like, years later, sometimes people, they think, okay, Bill and Ted 1 and 2, it's good as it is. We do not need a part 3. Part 3 is going to ruin it. They're going to mess it up. Oh, they actually did a good job. They actually, did a good continuation. They did remember a lot of the, original details. And, of course, the most important function of all is that they still have the original actors, the original Bill and Ted actors, because it would, how the movie would have been kind of like, if it's not the same Bill and Ted actor.
Now, another thing I do want to mention, just a couple of things here and there. First, I want to mention that the movie's a good mixture of everything. It's like, it's like a mixture of part 1, part 2, and just new stuff in general. Because, of course, the first movie was based about them going back through time and, different parts of the past. So of course in this movie the daughters also went to different parts of the past in a similar fashion. The second movie was about heaven and hell, so the characters, you can tell from the trailer, the characters end up in hell, so it kind of, brings that back a bit, and the Grim Reaper's there. But they never really went to different parts of the future, so this movie also deals with them going like, let's go 2 years into the future, well, let's go 5 years into the future, let's go even more, so they keep going different years in the future, which is something that's also never been done. So it is interesting to see that. And another thing I want to say is everyone, of course, is happy that Keanu Reeves was actually okay doing the movie. He did the movie because it's just a fun movie. It's cool. It's great for the fans. People are saying, of course, that with the kind of money he has, I mean, he's gotten bigger than Bill and Ted. He did not really need to make a Bill and Ted movie. He could move on to bigger projects, but he did it because, like, for the fans. Like, the fans wanted a part 3 and everything, so he did it for the fun. He did it with the, for the fans. So that is pretty awesome, And
I think it speaks well on Keanu Reeves' behalf, because it still shows that he still has gratitude, like he's so grateful he made that movie in a certain way. Like, okay, like he's a big Hollywood actor now, and he has made a lot of spectacular movies. Don't get me wrong, but I do find it admirable that he is able to say, hey, you know what? Like, despite my fame and despite me making all these serious movies, that I'm still gonna give a shout out to Bill and Ted, because that was still kind of like one of the first movies that he was acting, and that's pretty cool.
yeah. And another thing is, also people were worried about the daughters. Like the daughters in other movies, that the kids are usually way more smarter, way more cooler, way more useful than the original characters or whatever. But no, they did a good job. The daughters were, of course, helpful. But, Bill and Ted had to do their part. But I also like the fact that the daughters are basically like Bill and Ted. Like, they basically grew up to be just like Bill and Ted. They still act the same. They do a good job trying to kind of copy the mannerisms. I kind of notice the detail that Bill's daughter is almost always smiling, like how Bill's almost smiling. If you kind of notice, he's the one who's usually smiling the most between the two of them. And Ted's daughter always has that whoa look on her face that, Ted basically always does. So it is kind of funny, Like, you do notice that. I mean, of course, both characters, Bill and Ted, are always either smiling or doing the whoa face. But if you notice, Bill is always smiling more, and Ted is always has that whoa, like, look and whatever. So
yeah, like their fashion sense too. Like it looks kind of like the female version of what Bill and Ted would have worn, I guess, if they were, yeah.
And they're still teenagers now.
Yeah, but one thing I like about them also is that even though they act a lot like Bill and Ted, they still have their little quirks. They still have their little personalities, So they're not like 100% a carbon copy. They still have something that makes them them, but you can still tell that they're still daughters from Bill and Ted,
Yeah. Oh, I'm surprised that Missy appeared in the movie. I honestly can't tell if it's the same actress or not. I mean, I would imagine maybe it is, because if it's not, then why even bother? But Missy appeared at the beginning of the movie, and she still follows the tradition that she keeps, like, bouncing back and forth, marrying, different members of Bill and Ted's family. Because I forgot the exact order of the two movies, but I think that in the first movie he was married with Bill's dad, I think. In the second movie he was married with Ted's dad, or one of those two. I forgot the order. But, yeah, I forgot who this person was, but it was still a member of the Bill or Ted family. And I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Missy just hops around a lot. In fact, not only that, but now you think about it, like, I don't even know if Missy really is their mother. It's probably like their stepmom, now you think about it. Like, in general, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And also, I do want to say, that's good that the father came out in the movie. I forgot all about him. I remember that back then when they were, doing all the press release and all the news, of course people were like happy that Bill and Ted coming back, of course Alex Winter coming back, but everyone was super happy that Death was coming back, that the actor of Death was coming back, but they never mentioned nothing about the father. And yeah, that was kind of cool that Ted's father came back, and talking all that stuff about you guys gotta grow up, you guys gotta shape up and what. So he still kind of keeps going with that attitude. And yeah, stuff happens with the father too. He actually gets involved more, but you'll find out when you watch the movie. But yeah, I guess that's as much as I can say without spoiling too much. The trailer, of course, gives you a general idea, but there's still lots of nice surprises here and there. And I gotta say it was a good movie. For me, it was a bit emotional near the end, I guess, when you finally. Well, obviously you guys are assuming they're gonna make their song sooner or later, but yeah, when we finally get to the ending, when we finally get to, of course, the big song that's gonna save the world, I'm not gonna give details, but it does get pretty emotional. It does feel pretty cool that they finally did it, they finally made it, and the world's like in the middle of falling apart, but also being saved. It's just, I don't know. It just builds up. This is something that's been happening since the first movie. The whole thing was from the first movie that if Bill and Ted don't make the song, the world's gonna end. And now here we're actually here. Like, that's the thing. We never saw the consequences in part 1 or part 2. In this one, we actually see the world falling apart. It feels more serious. It feels like, oh shit, this is it now. Like, you guys better do this now. Like so it does feel more urgent. But yeah, But yeah, that's what I'm saying. And lots of people are also saying, and I'm sure you agree also, Johnny, that yeah, this is the kind of feel good and wholesome and good kind of movie that you want to see now. And in this time, in this era, no serious political stuff or whatever. Just, good movie with silly, goofy shit going on, with silly, goofy characters that you grew up with, during easier times, I guess you want to say. But yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I really like the movie, and yeah, like I said before, like just watch it. Just if you're able to watch it at home, watch it at home. If you're able to put it in theaters, it's up to you guys. But personally, I really do feel like this. I feel like the time that they released the movie, it couldn't have come out in a much better time right now. Like, because we really do need to see a movie that's like, I don't know, it's like fun and exciting and like mindless in a certain way. You're not thinking too much. It's just we just have a good time.
Now, I don't know in the future. It depends, of course, how long this whole thing's gonna last. And I don't really know what other movies, possibly the Black Widow movie, we could do that if we're still stuck at home or whatever. But yeah, we'll see what other movie we might review in this particular format. We'll try to watch it at home at the same time, even though we're in different states and crap, and we'll try to do a review in this fashion. Bill and Ted 3, I just couldn't wait. I just had to see the movie, and you know how it is with the internet and memes. Like, the longer you wait, the longer it's going to be memes or spoilers or people quoting stuff from the movie, and you're going to you're gonna run into it by accident, even when you're not looking for it or something, and you don't want to ruin the movie. So I mean, like, at first I kind of sort of wanted to wait to see what was gonna happen, if the theaters were gonna open up in a safe fashion. But to be honest, it doesn't look like I mean, I know some theaters are still open, but we still have the whole thing with the the 6-foot rule and the masks and all that shit, and it's still not like it was before, And I didn't want to waste waiting another month or so to see what was going to happen. I mean, if we could watch it now in this video format, let's watch it already. Let's watch it. The movie just came out just yesterday. Friday was the premiere, so it's like, if it's out, let's watch it, right? But we'll see if we could watch maybe Black Widow in theaters, or we'll see what happens, So that's it for now, guys. All I can say is it's a pretty good movie. I was not disappointed. It was pretty awesome. And yeah, that's the most I can say without going too much into spoilers. But if you love the first two movies, you'll love this one. You'll love all the details and all the references to the other two movies. Like I said, even all that stuff with the newspaper clippings at the end of the movie, the second one, even all that shit counts. So that was pretty interesting. So yeah, go watch it. Watch it on online. There's like tons of ways to watch it online. You could watch it on Roku. You can watch it on Fandango. I think even YouTube now, you can actually rent it for YouTube, whatever. Or if you want to risk the theaters, I guess that's at your own risk, of course. I personally would not risk getting this for. I mean, I love Bill and Ted, but I'm not gonna get Corona for Bill and Ted. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna risk it for that. But yeah. But the movie. Maybe Endgame is worth risking it, but not Bill and Ted, But, yeah, you guys watch it, enjoy it, it'll be fun, you'll love it, you will not be disappointed, always,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this movie's totally commendable. Watch it, um, and just watch it. Just watch the movie because it's totally worth it. Especially if you're a big fan of Bill and Ted, you will really love this movie. And I really do think they did a really good job with this movie. They did a really good continuation, and yeah, I give credit to the director of this movie. Credit that Keanu Reeves is still able to act his role as Ted, and yeah, it's good.
So anyways, guys, that wraps up this episode with the review Sanctum. This is Mark Rodriguez saying, be excellent to each other.
And this is Johnny Rodriguez. Party on, dudes.